Good. All right, we need a motion to come back in.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Do it. Mike, turn the mics on. Do we need to repeat that? Is that picked up? Okay. Second, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Back in session. If you want to read the next case.
Yes, docket number OC 18038. An application has been filed requesting a location variance for a proposed accessory structure to be located at 6024 Cherry Lane, Crestwood, Kentucky.
Okay. Brooke Beeman with Oldham County Planning and Development Services. The applicant's requesting a location variance to allow a 22 by 50 foot accessory structure, which will be an antique barn, to be placed between the primary structure and the front property line. The zoning is CO1 conservation and R2 residential. The land use is residential, and the size of the property is 8.85 acres. This is a vicinity map. You can see it's located off of Cherry Lane, which is off of Old Floydsburg. And you can see there's an intermittent stream that runs through the property. That's what that blue line is. And this is the zoning map. This is an aerial map of the property. The property in question is outlined in red. You can see the existing house, which gets access from Cherry Lane, and then there's an intermittent stream that runs along in the middle of the property behind the home. Section 250.30, accessory uses and structures without dwelling units. The property is over 5 acres, so there's no restriction on size, and the maximum number of accessory structures allowed is 2, 3 allowed with a conditional use permit. So the applicant's proposed barn meets that requirement. It will be built after the home's already built, so it follows principal use. It's on the same property. The only number on there that it does not meet is the relationship to street setbacks, because it is located between the primary structure and the front property line. So they're requesting a variance for that reason. This is the map that the applicant provided showing the location of the proposed barn.
What does that mean? 36 feet to the nearest property barn?
It looks like
Or the nearest property
line. It
the
looks
barn
like that's
is 22.
Yeah, the barn is 22 by 50.
All right.
36 feet to the nearest property line. I think that's what they meant. And then 200 feet from the barn to the front property line.
All right.
So this is our aerial map, and I circled the general area of the proposed location. It looks like there was, it looks like there's already an existing concrete pad in that location, so there was probably an accessory building there at one point. But the applicant can clarify that. This is the applicant's property, looking into it from Cherry Lane. It's very difficult to see. It's heavily wooded along the property line. You can see a little bit of the house from this view. These are the north adjoining properties, looking into each property from Cherry Lane, and so these are across the street. This is the west view on Cherry Lane and the west adjoining property, so the property to the left, 6032 Cherry Lane. And this is the applicant's property. You can see it's pretty heavily wooded along the property line. This is the east view on Cherry Lane and the east adjoining property, 6020 Cherry Lane. The applicant's justification from their application states that the existing septic is located to the left of the primary structure, which limits the location. There is a creek and deep ravine behind the home, which limits access to that portion of their land. There was a barn in this same location when the property was previously used as a farm. The location would have minimal impact on the adjoining properties because it will be at least 200 feet from the front property line. The existing mature trees between the property line and proposed barn would act as a buffer, and the barn is a piece of history that is a work of art and aesthetically pleasing. In summary, the applicant is requesting an accessory structure location variance to allow the placement of an antique barn between the primary structure and the front property line. That's all I have.
If you can put the topo map back on. There you go, thank you. Well, I'm gonna ask the applicant some questions.
Sure.
Any questions for Brooke? Okay, thanks, Brooke. If we can have the applicants come forward.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Your name and address.
My name is Robert Fromtap. I live at 6024 Cherry Lane, Crestwood, Kentucky, 40014.
All right, Robert, if you want to explain what it is you're trying to do.
Sure. So we currently have goats and chickens in an old structure on the other side of the creek, but on days like today, it's extremely difficult to get across that creek to take care of them. And my mother, who's elderly, also helps us with the animals when we're out of town or whatever, and for her, it's really difficult. She is the property owner to the west, and I have a letter from her saying that she really wants the barn built. And I also have a letter from the property owner or not the property owner, but the person that lives on the property to the right, and he's in support of it as well. There was a barn there when I bought the property, or a little falling down structure that I tore down, and so we're requesting that be put back. If you look, and again, I apologize for my drawing. I didn't know it was going to be put up on a board. I would have done something a little neater and more legible, but directly to the left is a septic system. There's nowhere to the right to put a barn, so really the only place on this side of the creek that we can put the barn that's furthest away from the road is the space where the barn was before. The barn itself, if you have that question, there is a barn built in the early 1800s. It's in Ohio right now, and there's a man, he just put together a similar structure in Pewee Valley. I don't know if you've seen that right next to the city hall, but he's taking that barn apart, refurbing it, and then he'll bring it down and rebuild that same superstructure. It's all hand-hewn, huge posts, and it's a post and beam type structure, and then that will be skinned over with new materials, but they'll be rough sawn, more consistent with the original barn. And it'll have a metal roof, and I have a picture of a similar structure if you want it, and I have that letter from the west and east property. People set those there, need it. Thank you, Brooke. And that's it.
Actually, hold off on the letter. When I get to the those in support, we'll show the couple letters. Okay, any questions for Robert? I do. Let's switch back over to the topo map. So septic to the left. And what I'm trying to do is, what you're asking to do is get a variance on a regulation to put a barn in front of the primary property. So I'm looking for other opportunities to put the barn behind the property,
Sure.
so that we don't have to be here. So if the septic is on the left, right there.
No, the septic is on directly behind where the barn would be.
Right, so
Right here, yeah.
right in that area.
Well, it goes, yes, it's substantially.
You can draw on the
Oh, I
screen.
can draw on it? Okay. It's basically, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That's below it.
Yeah, actually, if you want to put the one that I was reading incorrectly, the 36 feet to the nearest property, there we go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so there's the septic field. Again, I apologize for that drawing. If I'd have known we were putting it up there, I would have made it
All
much
right.
better. My mom is to the left there. That's the one that's 36 feet away. That's my mom's house.
That's
She
this
just
one
built.
here.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then Todd is to the right.
Okay.
And so, and then you can't really see it, but on the other side of the creek, there's an existing pole barn, but it is, whenever it rains, water just literally runs through it, and so that's not acceptable.
all right. Now put the topo back up. All right, thank you.
That-
You're fine.
All right, so So it looks like the septic, you wouldn't be able to put it where the septic is in that area. What about on this side over here?
Well, I could, but that gets it a lot closer to the road, and then it gets awfully close to Todd's property. And there's less trees on that side, and so you would bring it about 70 feet closer to the road. And if that's where you guys want me to put it, that's fine. It's also closer to my mom's, who, like I said, helps us out, and she can walk there. So that was that was the place furthest back that I could put it on the property without having to cross the creek. And not be on top of the septic field, and that was the point of that. But I could, if you guys tell me to, I will. But that puts it a lot closer to Todd's, and I know he would prefer it was on my mom's side of the property. Oh, it's also not flat, yeah, and it's hillier over there too, so it would be a little more work. It's not a concrete pad; it's just a rock. It's a rock. There was rock there previously, and we added a little rock, and so. But it's where we park the tractor and, all the farm implements, the bush hog and all that sits over there now, and our Jeep.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Robert?
Yes, describe to me, if you would, the elevations, difference in elevations behind your home. You made mention that, it's not level, obviously.
Yeah, so you could see from that, there's a really deep ravine right there, and it's about, I'd say 20 feet deep. Is that what that's saying? Yeah, from 98 to 82, so 16 feet deep. And the current barn is on the other side of the creek. I don't see it on the map. I know where it is, but it's not on the map. It is approximately right here. Yeah, that one, just getting across there, it's very slippery going down the hill and back up the hill when, on a day like today, it's a pain. And, but it is cliffs. It's not, even relatively level and very rocky. And so, there would be no way to put it back there without putting it on stilts or something, It's a very steep ravine. And then, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, have another one. Since I'm naive in the elevation numbers, what's the relationship of those numbers? As I see that they're ascending from your home.
Yeah.
The numbers are going up. What is that trying to tell me?
Oh, okay. So my house is at approximately 700 feet elevation from sea level, and the creek directly behind me is 682 feet above sea level.
Got it.
So
Okay.
So my house is 18 feet above the
Gotcha.
creek.
Thank you.
And it's doing that over, I'd say about 30 feet. So it's dropping 18 feet
Wow.
over 30 feet. So it's a ravine. And you can see like the 682 and the 690, and there's an 8-foot cliff there. That's what that's saying. Yeah. And it wouldn't be, so that we're clear, it's not directly in front of the house. It would be, as the picture describes, it would be about 20 feet to the west side and then about 30 feet in front. Now, it would not be in front of the east corner of the house. It would only be, because the house is at an angle to the road, at like a 45 to the road. And I did that on purpose so I would be looking at woods, not road. But it wouldn't be in front of the east corner. It would only be in front of the west corner. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so. If I have it, I'm looking at your home right now. So at the top of the Cherry Lane, that'd be going what, north? Is that the north?
Yes, the Cherry Lane's to the north. Yeah, and and so we're looking to build it to the west of the house, just about 20 feet to the west, 30 feet forward from the west corner. But because the west corner is about 35 feet further away from the road than the east corner, it's does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's angled like
Yeah.
that, and then the barn will be over here.
How long ago did you tear down the other structure?
12, 13 years ago when I bought the property right after I bought the property. And so before I built the house. So we had to clear the land for that house. I tore down, there was another house, there was a trailer home, there was 3 barns, And so I had all of those except for one of the barns tore down.
Okay, thank you.
I believe in the one that, again, I was misreading. You have handwritten, it looks like 200 feet from the road
Yeah.
to the proposed
Approximately,
location.
yes.
Approximately 200 feet, okay.
And I could move it back another 15 or 20 feet, but I didn't know exactly what the rules for how close it could be to the septic, so I've given myself plenty of room. But it could come back another 20 feet and still wouldn't be in the septic field, but would be right on the edge, and so I just gave myself that cushion, if that makes sense.
So you could push it back, and you say it'd be right on the edge of,
The septic field.
the edge of the septic. Would
Yeah.
you still be, the proposed location be in front of the main dwelling?
Yes.
You would
The
still be
the
before
west
us?
corner of the main dwelling, not the east corner, but just the west
Gotcha,
corner.
gotcha. So where it is now, and maybe you just answered that and I didn't hear it, where the proposed location is now, how far in front of the proposed, or the main dwelling is it?
It's terrible. It's approximately 20 feet to the west,
Yeah.
and the front corner of the barn would be approximately 30 feet from the west corner of the property.
On the west corner, okay.
But the east corner of the property is 35 feet in front of so it's like this, and the barn would be over here.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Right.
Is there existing driveway access
Yes,
since there was a previous structure there?
yes.
Okay,
There's a loop in front of my house, and it would be on the west side of the loop.
okay.
Yeah. And again, that's where we're parking the tractor and the bush hog and the Jeep and all that now, so that's,
Those things would then go in the structure, correct?
yeah. Not the Jeep, but the rest of it would, yeah.
Right.
And then, yeah, and the goats and chickens.
Okay.
Any questions?
All right, any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and put the letters of support. Just take that first top copy off. All right, is there anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the applicant? And Robert, you said you had 2 letters of support?
No, it's both their signatures are on that.
Oh, both the signatures, okay, thanks. All right, anybody else here wishing to speak in favor of the applicant? All right, those opposed? Any other questions, comments, statements? Board members, questions for anybody in the audience? Okay. Close the floor, open it up for general discussion.
Based on the testimony today, I think it's reasonable about what he's requesting, because if you look at that topographical map, I mean, the perfect location would probably be right where the septic system is sitting. And that, of course, cannot be done. It's understandable that they want to move it in front of that. I would say as close to the septic system as possible would be beneficial from the land use standpoint. But then you are, if you look at the topographical, you are getting into some differential there on the topographical. Based on the request today, I would move to approve.
No. All right. Anybody willing to make a motion or more comments?
I have one comment. I would like, if all practical, I would like to see that structure pushed back a little bit.
And I think based on the testimony, the applicant would be in favor of doing that if we chose to do that.
Okay. Willing to take a motion?
I move to approve OC 18038, the variance because it will not adversely affect the public health, safety, and welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general facility, and will not cause a hazard and nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. I think the strict application of the provisions of the regulation would deprive the applicant of the reasonable use of the property and would create an unnecessary hardship on the applicant. We would recommend that the structure be moved to a reasonable location within the septic system, but not to cover the septic system. This motion would be on November 15th, 2018.
I second it.
All right, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, it's been approved.
And docket number OC 18039, an application has been filed requesting a road frontage variance for a proposed lot at 4020 Caldwell Lane, Smithfield, Kentucky.
All right, last item of the day. As Mr. Pate stated, this is a road frontage variance request for proposed 2-acre tract located at 4020 Caldwell Lane. The size of the property is incorrect at the bottom. That is not correct. This is an aerial view of the property here. The applicant owns this tract as well as the tract highlighted there in red. This is the zoning overlay. You'll see everything there. The lighter color is AG1 and the dark green is CO1 conservation. And then this also shows the location of the 100-year floodplain as well, highlighted there in blue. On February 21st of 2008, the Oldham County Board of Adjustments granted a road frontage variance to create a 14-acre tract with 0 road frontage on Caldwell Lane, which was docket 08-006. The applicant is requesting a road frontage variance to create a 2-acre tract of land with no frontage. The required road frontage of the property is zoned AG1 and CO1. Under 2.5 acres is 150 feet. Therefore, the applicant is requesting a road frontage variance of 150 feet. Again, the parent tract was created via minor plat in 2008 and received a road frontage variance at that time. Justification from the owner at that time that they did not want to mortgage the entire 25 acres, only the 10 plus or minus acres, which was tract 1 that included the home. So this was the exhibit that was submitted back in 2008. This was the parent tract here, and then this was the tract that received the road frontage variance in 2008. And then it also, in order to get to tract 2, there was a 40-foot access easement that is highlighted there in purple. So that's the configuration that was approved from the 2008 Board of Adjustments hearing. So you had tract 1 and tract 2, and then in purple again you had the 40-foot access easement. So the property was purchased by the applicants in January of 2017, and they're requesting to create a 2-acre tract of land from tract 2 where their parents would build a house, and they do not want to maintain and own the 15 acres, which is technically all of tract 2. The proposed tract will be accessed via a 40-foot access easement that they are proposing to relocate from the property borders of the tract to the existing field path on the property. So this is the plan that was submitted with the application that you have in your packets. So again, this is the proposed tract here, the 12.8 acres. So that's the parent tract, or the original tract 1. They're wanting to create this 2-acre tract, which was part of tract 2 that was here, and it would be accessed again through the 40-foot access easement to get to the 2-acre tract. The yellow line is the original property line between the 2 tracts. So they're gonna, or not requesting, but they're showing that they are taking that property line and actually shifting it over to here. So this is again the 2-acre tract that's in question that they're asking for the 150-foot road frontage variance. The proposed tract is also located in an area where the house and the septic system can be built without changing the topography of the land, and the appearance of the property will not change from Caldwell Lane. Therefore, there will not be any changes to the character of the neighborhood, and it will be preserved. Both of those statements came from the applicant's justification statement. So this is 1414 Caldwell Lane. This is the front tract. This was the tract 1. So this was the house that was built on that front tract of land. This is the north view. This is exiting Caldwell Lane going towards Highway 22. This is the north adjoining property owner. This is 4010 Caldwell Lane. This is the east view, so this is across the street from the applicant's property, which is a large farm. This is the south view, so this is the continuation of Caldwell Lane, and then Caldwell Court runs along the back side of this field. This is the intersection of Caldwell Lane and Caldwell Court. So again, Caldwell Lane ends here, goes into the private drive that goes back to the farmhouse, and then Caldwell Court is off to your right. So this is, again, this is Caldwell Lane. The pavement ends here, and then it turns into gravel. This is a view from Caldwell Court. If you look at this map here, I am at the top of the hill in Caldwell Court, looking towards the two adjoining property owners. This is the tract that's in question, and then that square is the approximate location. It's not to scale, but that square is the location of the 2-acre tract. So it's not visible from Caldwell Lane. It's not really visible from Caldwell Court as well. So this is trying to look at these two houses here. And then again, standing at that star, this is looking back at this picture here is looking back into that subject tract to see that bluff, and you can't see any of it from there. So this is just like I said, another zoomed in version. So this is like a vicinity map here. This is East Highway 22 going towards Smithfield. Oops. So then you would come all the way down Caldwell Lane. And again, this is the lot that has the house on it, and then this is the subject tract there. So it's rather far off of the main road.
Amy, the property that they're going to sell, which tract is that?
It's the subject tract is highlighted there in red, and then the 2-acre tract is that square.
So they're selling them highlighted in red, but keeping them. No, they want to create that small square 2-acre tract for their parents to build a house on. Okay.
So in essence, when we're all said and done, we'll have 3 separate tracts of land. Is that correct?
Correct. You'll have this front piece is where the house is at. Then you'll have the remaining tract here that's highlighted in red, and then you'll have the 2-acre tract that is the green square. It'll be what's on the screen there. So the front tract will be 12.8 acres. The residual tract from tract 2 will be 10, and then they're creating a 2-acre tract. So there'll be 3 tracts. There's 2 tracts now. They want to go from 2 tracts to 3 tracts.
I don't know if this is the proper time to ask a point of planning and zoning, but if looking to the future, this farm sells, okay? You have 3 different parcels. You have a 40-foot easement that runs all the way back to the 2 acres, which is a separate parcel of land.
Correct.
Is it the property owners or the county that puts in the easement the responsibility of the maintenance of that road?
Well, the access easement is a responsibility of the private property owners. It's not a county road, so the county doesn't install any of that. So that would be the responsibility. There has to be a maintenance agreement that's filed with the minor plat. So the access easement is filed, recorded with the minor plat, as well as a maintenance agreement. So if someone was to build a house on this 10 acres and they use the access easement, they would be subject to the same stipulations.
That's an agreement between the 3 parties, basically.
Between the 3 property owners. Correct.
And it's all recorded. It's all recorded. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So the 12.8 acre tract and the 10-acre tract is owned by the same person. The 2-acre tract would be owned by their parents.
Correct. Today.
Correct. Correct.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So hang on, go back to that where you were. So what was done in 2008?
2008, they created this tract here.
But did you not say that we're looking to move that to Z the line and,
Correct. So this is the property line between the 2 acre tract, the 2 tracts right now.
as it is now, yeah?
Correct. So they're wanting to create this tract.
Yeah.
So this is the new property line. The current line is here.
Right.
So they're wanting to shift that property line, which they can do by right.
And, oh, what'd you just say?
They can do that by right.
Okay. All right, in addition to doing that, they're wanting to parcel out this 2 acre lot.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Correct. The property line shift is not before the board today.
Right.
That's not under your
Well,
purview.
but what I was thinking is, do we have to also do a zero road frontage for that one if they're shifting that line? But you're,
No,
Okay.
because this tract, this remaining tract here, that already received a road frontage variance in 2008.
well,
But it's in,
this received the road frontage in
No.
2008.
No. The rear tract, this tract received the road frontage variance. It's irregardless of how many acres it is. That tract tract 2 received a road frontage variance.
I think his point is that road frontage is moving. I mean, that road is moving.
The property line is moving. The road is not moving, the property line is shifting. So they can do that via minor plat through our office. So because the tract still received a road frontage variance irregardless of the size of the property that it received. So I think I was at the very end. So the applicant is requesting a road frontage variance for a 2 acre tract of land located at 4020 Caldwell Lane. So the required road frontage is 150 feet. They're proposing 0, so the variance that is being requested is 150 feet. So I can answer any other questions that you may have. And Caldwell Lane is a county road. So it is not a private drive or anything of that nature. It is listed on our county road book, so.
What is being accessed by the access easement, or what will be?
Well, the access easement would be used to access the 2 acre tract and the 10 acre tract.
And that's coming off of Caldwell Lane.
That's coming through their property, correct. So they would go Caldwell Lane through this access easement to get to the 10 acre tract and the 2 acre tract.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Amy. If we can have the applicants come forward.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name?
My name is Brandon Coldiron. I live at 4014 Caldwell Lane, Smithfield, Kentucky, 40068.
Okay, Brandon, if you'd like to tell us what it is you'd like to do?
What we would like to do is we would like to rearrange the back lot and create a 2 acre tract for my parents to put a house on. My parents currently live in eastern Kentucky. They recently retired and both their kids live in this area. So we would like for them to come live near us and watch their grandkids grow up. So.
Questions for Brandon?
Do you consider the future of these 3 tracks as far as it will always be utilized by the family members, you believe, or are you proposing selling off some of this at some point?
No, this is we're planning on keeping this forever. This is our forever home. So this would be we would like to keep this in the family forever.
You do have plans on a maintenance agreement with those 3 pieces of property on that road, or you will
Yes.
have a organized document that will
Yes.
detail that?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'm saying not a verbal agreement, but you will have something in place.
We'll have something formally documented.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, any other questions? Thank you. All right, anybody wishing to speak in favor?
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do. Bill Knisner, I'm with Garber Chilton Engineers and Land Surveyors. Address is 605 Scott Montfort Drive, LaGrange, Kentucky. I'm filling in for Dave today because he's on vacation and I have to do his job now. Basically, what they're looking to do is, like Amy explained, the original 15-acre rear parcel that was, they were not mortgaging back in 2008, and this is the previous owner. They're wanting just to realign that, provide a track for, an additional track for the parents to build a house. The new access easement they're going to be granting is going along the old farm road that runs between the fields. We went out and located it, so for easy access, not having to disturb too many trees or anything like that. The reasoning for the track being where it is, one, we're on the East Fork of Floyd's Fork, so we have to deal with floodplains and everything. Amy showed the FEMA flood elevation, so if anything's going to be built, it's going to have to be up on the higher side where the 2-acre track is, and if anything in the future for family or whatever built on a 10-acre, it's also going to have to be on the high side to get it out of the floodplain. So hence the reason where the 2-acre track is being placed.
Okay. All right, questions for Bill? Thank you, Bill. Okay, seeing nobody else, nobody's in opposition. Any final statements, comments? Board members, any questions for anybody?
No, I don't have any.
No.
Okay, I'll close the floor, open it up for general discussion.
Based on the testimony today, I would move to approve this. I believe it is within their right to request something like this, and it does make sense for them personally, and to utilize this property to the best of their ability. I think it would be something that I would approve.
Yeah, all the information that I've heard from the applicant and others, I'm satisfied that this will be just fine.
Okay, willing to take a motion.
Move to approve OC 18039 because it will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general facility, and will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. The strict application of these provisions of the regulation would deprive the applicant of the reasonable use of the land and would create a necessary hardship for the applicant. I do this on November 15th, 2018.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's been approved. Okay, minutes. You guys received the minutes? Any changes, discussion on them?
I saw none.
I have one, somewhere in the minutes I read
See something.
Barry Baxter's name. Is that correct? Is he?
Here, number 4.
Yeah. I believe, and I may be wrong, but it need to be checked out. I think Barry spells Barry, B-E-R-R-Y.
I think you're right.
Okay. All right, any other changes? All right, can we get a motion to approve as amended?
I make a motion to approve minutes dated October 18th, 2018. Today, November 15th, 2018.
Do as amended to get us
As amended,
name
with
right?
noted changes.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
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 Those opposed? It's been approved.
You will most likely have a meeting in December There is a case that's going before the Technical Review Committee for a conditional use permit, but it met traffic counts, so it has to go to TRC first. So you will most likely have a December meeting.
Okay.
But as always, you know, I'll send an email out to let you know.
I haven't checked in a while as far as training goes. Can you follow up on training and just make sure everybody, we're toward the
On
end of the year?
training hours
Training
and what?
hours.
Yep, sure can. I can send you an email.
Just check on it and make sure everybody's fine. All right, anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.